Hey guys, Julian here, back again with another Pokemon TCG deck profile. Today we will be profiling Darkrai Giratina Solgaleo. So this deck is kind of revived, you could say. Not a lot of people have been playing it since the beginning of the regional events. But with Solgaleo, I think this deck is really good. To be honest, the only thing it really gets beaten by is itself, its inconsistency. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So to start off, we have 3 Darkrai. Darkrai is our main attacker. Its Dark Pulse attack does 20 damage, plus 20 more for each Dark energy you have on the field. It's really good. Then we have 2 Giratina. So this deck plays double Dragon Energy, which can count as 2 Dark Energy. And with having Dragon Pokemon, we can attach those double Dragon Energies. So Giratina's attack, Chaos Wheel, makes it so your opponent can't play any special energy, stadiums, or tools. It's really good, and plus its Renegade Pulse ability makes it so no Mega Pokemon can attack it. Next, we have one more Dragon, which is going to be our Latios EX. So Latios can do 40 damage for a double Dragon Energy, and then you can actually use it on the first turn. So really, you can actually donk opponents with this. And when I mean donk, that means knock them out in the first turn, meaning they pretty much would just finish the game to begin with. But this is mainly used for Combi, since Vesperqueen is really popular, and 40 damage would automatically take it out. It's good to win you some games like that. Next, we have our Solgaleo line. So we have 3 Cosmog. Nothing really big about Cosmog. Cosmog, 1 retreat, Dust Gathering, that lets you draw a card. We have one Cosmoem. Cosmoem's attack is teleport, and you can pretty much just switch from the active to the bench. It's not really good. We're not really going to be using it. The only reason we really play it is so we can evolve into like a second Solgaleo, or if we really need it against like Vileplume, since our rare candies aren't going to be accessible. But yeah, that's why you play that. And then we have our Solgaleo line. We have 3 Solgaleo. So Solgaleo, the reason we play this is its Soul Burst GX stack lets us get 5 energy. So theoretically, we can actually get 4 double dragons and like 1 more. So that would be 9 energy, which is a 180 damage buff to Darkrai's attack, which is absolutely ridiculous. And its Sunsteel Strike attack does 230, and then you have to discard all energy attached to it. So we actually play Rainbow Energy and not Metal Energy. So once you Soul Burst GX, you can actually attach some Rainbow Energy to the Solgaleo, and then set it up for a different turn. But we do not play Max Elixir in this deck like the old Darkrai Dragons used to play. So this is our main energy acceleration. Next, we just play 2 Shaymins. Nothing really big about that. Setup is really good. Okay, for our support account, we have 4 Sycamore. It's pretty standard. It's probably the best supporter we have at this point. 2N. It's our only draw supporter that doesn't discard our hands. It's good for late game and early game. Early game, it can help you draw into things you need, and late game, it can disrupt your opponent. We have 1 Lysandre. This just snipes things you really want to get into the active, or something you want to get out of the active. And then we have 1 Skyla. So the thing about this deck, why I say it's inconsistent, is that you need the rare candy and the Solgaleo and the Rainbow Energy on an already played Cosmog. So if you already have the Cosmog, you can actually Skyla will actually help search for one more of the card. So if we have like a Solgaleo, then we can search for a rare candy. Or if we have a rare candy in our hand, then we can actually search for an Ultra Ball to get the Solgaleo. It really helps the consistency of the deck. Next, for our items, we play 4 Via Seeker. Pretty standard. Gets our supporters back. Next, we play 4 Ultra Ball. It's about the only thing ball card we can play, because we're using Cosmog and Cosmoem. There's Nest Ball is not that good in the deck, but it's Ultra Ball is always really good because you can search out any Pokemon. Helps to get Solgaleo, Darkrai, pretty much anything you need. Next, we play 4 Rare Candies. Rare Candy lets you evolve from a basic Pokemon to a Stage 2 without evolving it to a Stage 1. So basically, we put a Cosmog down, and then we can straight evolve into the Solgaleo using the rare candy. That's kind of why we only play once Cosmoem, because we're not going to use it very often. And next, we have 4 Transmail. Transmail helps the consistency of the deck. If you didn't play Transmail, the deck would be super clunky. The only thing I would consider playing is more supporters, but anything that you would want to get rid of, I wouldn't recommend. So those are 4 ofs. Next, we have 3 Fighting Fury Belts. It gives 40 more HP to our basic Pokemon, so usually we're going to attach it to like a Darkrai or a Giratina that has a lot of energy on it. That's part of why the deck can beat itself, is if you don't have more than 1 dragon on your bench, when you use Soul Burst, you might have to attach more than 2 double dragon energy to your Giratina or your Latios. So you need multiple of them so you can get the most out of your Soul Burst. Next, we play 1 Super Rod. Super Rod lets us shuffle more Pokemon from the discard pile into the deck. This helps if one of your Solgaleo gets knocked out and you need it more. But it's mostly for Darkrai once it gets knocked out and you need more of them. Then we play 1 Escape Rope and 1 Switch. So we don't play any other switching cards besides this because I didn't mention this, but Solgaleo's ability helps it helps switch out the Pokemon immediately. I'll show you it right now. So Solgaleo, its Ultra Rod ability lets us switch out of the active into a bench Pokemon really smoothly and swiftly. It's super easy for us to switch. And we don't really want to play that many switching cards, but if we have something like a Shaymin stuck in the active, then we want to get that out immediately. And we might not have time to switch it out to get Solgaleo in play. So that's just kind of an early switching card. Late game is probably going to be completely useless, but it's also useful if your opponent plays Garbodor or Hexmaniac. And yeah, that's all our items. Next, we play 2 Parallel Cities. Parallel City limits your opponent's bench to 3, or you can make it so that they do 20 less damage with their attacks if they're fire, water, or grass. This really helps against Mega Rayquaza because you can limit their bench and make them do a lot less damage. And since we're doing kind of a setup, it's not that it can be harmful at times if you're kind of going late. But if you use Parallel City on a Mega Rayquaza, then they're not going to be able to knock you out turn 1, which is really, really helpful. Next, for our energy count, we're playing 5 Dark Energy. Some people will play 4 in this deck, but I think 5 is kind of like the right number for you to play. You're already playing 8 Special Energy, so you might want to you could cut it down to 4, but in my opinion, 5 is just the best number you can have. Powers of Darkrai's attack. Next, we play 4 Double Dragon Energy. Standard 4 Double Dragon. It's not the same without that. Attaching 2 Dark Energies to power up Darkrai EX is amazing. Next, we play 4 Rainbow Energy. So, as I said before, we don't play Metal, and the reason why we don't play Metal is because it doesn't go towards Darkrai's attack. So, if we did play Metal, it wouldn't our attacks wouldn't do as much damage. But with Rainbow, it counts as a Dark and a Metal, so it really, really helps. So, that's the deck. Matchup-wise, as I said before, the deck really only gets beaten by itself. The only thing I would consider is a Vespiquen build that is built to be something like this. So maybe play Flareon and like Passimian, which I've seen going around. And that's about it. The deck beats everything else. If you don't get set up turn 2, which could happen a lot since it's not the most consistent deck, then the deck won't be as good. But if you if you get it in turn 3 and your opponent may be a little slow, you can still overpower your opponent. And the strength of this deck with hitting like 260 turn 2 is pretty ridiculous. The only deck that could do that is Mega Rayquaza, but you can limit your opponent's bench using Parallel City. And the thing about Solgaleo is that it has 250 HP, so that if you use your Soul Burst, you won't be subject to a one-hit KO, because I don't even think anything in the format can one-hit KO Solgaleo, turn 1 at least. Because Mega Rayquaza can only do 240, and you still have 10 HP. But anyway, that's the deck, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.